What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. Guys, in today's video, we want to talk about the bad shit of Africa. How Africans talk trash about Africa. Some of it may be true, but as Africans, is that the way to go about it? Is it okay to talk bad about Africa or to show Africa in a bad light? Do you think it's a good thing? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we're family, right? Holla. People, I know Africa is going through a lot. And Africa has been going through a lot. In fact, Africa has been going through the most for as long as we can remember. For as long as most of us have been alive, you know? And that's a fact. I mean, we can't run away from that. But is Africa so bad that we have to all flee, run away, go to Europe? Is it so bad that we have to talk bad about Africa? Is it so bad that you don't even want to associate with Africa anymore? I mean, is Africa so bad that you don't even want other people, like you don't want foreigners, like you don't want Americans or Europeans to come to Africa? Is that how you portray Africa? Is that how you project Africa to anyone who's willing to listen? Like I'm saying, I understand totally. Like some countries have it tough at the moment, and it hasn't always been that tough. And I'm not saying that Africa's great just because I'm African or just because I'm actually living in Africa. I'm saying, guys, every country and every continent has its bad things. And every country and every continent has its good things too, you know? So let's not just focus on the bad, let's also look at the positives. Let's also look at the good. Because if Africa was as bad as some people are making it sound, right, or making it look, then I'm sure digital nomads wouldn't be flocking to Africa if it was that bad. And besides, the Africans who talk bad about Africa to Americans or to Europeans, they're forgetting one thing. Africa may be bad for you because you are operating in the local currencies. When they come over with their American dollars and their pounds, it's a totally different lifestyle compared to your experience. So you can't be out there bashing Africa to people who earn dollars, to people who have dollars, to people who earn pounds, who have pounds, because their perspective and their lived experience on the continent will be totally different to your experience. Now, having said that, now what has caused this video to be made, or what prompted me to make this video? I seen a video by one African journalist, well, and she was talking about Nigerian singer Davido, and he was basically on an interview, I think in America somewhere on a radio station somewhere, and then the interviewer asked Davido if what advice he would give Americans who want to travel to Africa, and then his first response was like, to go where? Because the Americans have it good in America. From what I understand and from what I know from the research that I've done, Black Americans don't have it great in America. Not even the rich blacks are spared from the, what can I put? Even rich Black Americans are not spared from the realities of being reminded of the color of their skin. You see, the honest truth is this, right? In Africa, where we live, right, for the most part, we actually forget our races. We actually forget. I mean, Dude, sometimes you have to be reminded that you are a certain race. It's not that you are aware of it every time because we just wake up and live. We don't wake up knowing consciously that I got to be careful of me doing this or going there because I am a certain race. Dude, I mean, hey, let me put it into perspective. As a black American, you wake up in the every morning. It doesn't matter which neighborhood you live in. You can be in Beverly Hills. You can be in Watts. You can be in the Hamptons. You can be in the boroughs. You can be in Hell's Kitchen. You can be in the Bronx, you know? You can be in Southside, Jamaica, Queens. You can be in South Central. You can be on you can be in South Beach, Miami. The realities of being black, bro, are like with you every single day because a cop out of the blue can just decide like, yo, he's having a bad day, and you know what I'm saying. So according to the research I've done, Americans wake up every day knowing and feeling it that, hey, I've got limitations to my life. You know what I mean? And that's true, right? And that's a true fact. You can't deny that, right? But when in Africa, it's a different ballgame. When you wake up every morning in Africa, you just go about your business every damn day. You don't even think race is the last thing that you're going to be thinking about. Like, oh man, I have to be aware that I'm black. I've got to be aware that I'm colored. I've got to be aware that I'm. I mean, I don't know if white people are aware of their whiteness in Africa. I don't know if maybe they. I don't. I'm not white, so I don't have that lived experience of being white. So I wouldn't. I can't speak for white people, and I can't speak for for tourists who come here because I know black tourists who probably from America who come here or black British tourists that come here and they come with obviously they come with that preconceived lived experience that they've been living their entire life. So they bring that over here. I think after time, over time, it then dawns on them that okay, here I can breathe easily now. Here it's not like it is back home or whatever the case may be. I could be wrong on that, but that is every YouTube video I've seen about Black Americans who've come to Africa, right? They always say the same thing, and it never hit me until recently that they always say this: "Man, I'm free out here. Man, it's refreshing out here. Man, it's liberating out here." Those words are powerful, man. To know that you are black and that you are not free in the country that you're living in, that takes us back to the days of apartheid and colonialism. Now it's 2024. You know what I mean? And you are telling American people, well, black American audiences, that you have it good in America and that Africa is not as good. I think that is disingenuous of Davido to say that because one, he may be talking about maybe Nigeria. Maybe Nigeria is not good at this present moment, but if you've got money, like any other country, if you've got money, life will be good. Life is good if you've got money in Africa, if you're black, if you're in Africa, because race won't be an issue at all. Life is good in America if you have money, but if you're black, there's limits. There's limitations to you. Even the great Jay-Z, even he knows not to mess with the white cops. Even he knows that if the cops decide to go ham on him, it's curtains for him. It's curtains. But in Africa, dude, we have people that even challenge the police. Black people swearing at the police. You know what I mean? We have black people, dude, we even disrespecting the police. And there's nothing that they can do. Nothing they can do. Nothing. Because, wow, we outnumber the police. In America, I think two or three white cops can actually threaten an entire crowd of black people and hold them hostage if they wanted to, and because they're going to call backup and all that. It's I mean, in South Africa, dude, it's a different ballgame. I mean, gee whiz. So that lived experience in America compared to South Africa, it's two different experiences. We cannot compare the two. That's what I'm saying. When we wake up every day in the morning, the last thing we need to think about is our race and our limitations. In America, it's a different ballgame. You get up every morning hoping and praying that you don't run into some racist cop, or, because you might not make it home. That's on top of the gang violence, on top of the other social ills that you get. Understand what I'm saying? You still have to worry about cops. You get what I mean? Whereas in Africa, we worry about the violence. We just worry about, oh man, I hope that I don't get robbed today. Well, I hope I don't get me. You know what I'm saying? But that's not an everyday threat. I mean, there are rough areas. Don't get me wrong. There are rough areas. There are certain areas that, sure, they don't like the hood, they like the real hood. I mean, there's an everyday struggle, but the last thing on their minds is that, oh man, I hope the cops don't stop me and I hope the cops don't shoot me. That's a lot. They only have to just deal with the social ills. And they don't have to wake up every morning being conscious of being black. You understand what I mean? So I don't know if this is making sense. So what I'm basically trying to get to is it's unfair for people like Davido to bash the African continent and to project Africa in a bad light, even though things are going tough in America. But I mean, things are going tough in Africa or in Nigeria particularly. He doesn't have to now bash the entire continent, and he doesn't have to discourage the Black Americans who have the financial muscle to come and invest and live and relocate to the continent, knowing that their dollars will go much more further than the rand or the naira or whatever other African currencies there are. I mean, so that's just totally unfair, because then what he's doing is actually robbing the continent of opportunities for investment, for tourism, and definitely for job creation. I mean, if Davido is a real ambassador for the continent, like he's supposed to be, he's supposed to openly talk about the good and the bad. So when he's supposed to give a balanced view of the continent, not just a blanket view of go where they want to go to because Africa is messed up. Dude, don't say Africa is messed up. Be specific, because Cape Town, for the tourists, for the foreigners with dollars and pounds, South Africa is not messed up. Cape Town is certainly not messed up. And the proof of that is the digital nomads. They are streaming in here by the hundreds. They are renting out properties. They are driving the prices up of everything. Property prices are going up. Rentals are going up. Food prices are going up. You name it, the digital nomads are pushing things up. And this is becoming a digital nomad hotspot. So if everything was so bad, like how he just hit that blanket statement of saying, nah, man, go where Africa is bad. Guys, come on. That is not right. That's just being disrespectful to the African continent as a whole. Because I don't think it's fair to lump Mauritius, Seychelles, South Africa, Namibia, Botswana in the same category as, let's just say, Nigeria, just because Nigeria is going through the most now. You know what I'm saying? So you should have been specific and said, no, don't go to Nigeria because this and that are about Nigeria. Don't go to the north of Nigeria because Boko Haram is operating there. Or don't go to the, I don't know, to where else? To Lagos because it's overcrowded or something like that. Then that's fine. Be specific about the problem, but then also give a balanced view of what is good. So give them options. Don't just tell them go where because Africa is messed up. Come on now, come on, bro. You can do better than that. No, Africa is not that bad, bro. Africa is not that bad. If Africa was that bad, we would all live. Even those that can't afford to live will scrape something and try their best to live if it was that bad. Trust me. Yeah. Next, we get into the pros. Like how we do. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Holla. All right. The pros of people talking bad about Africa. One, when you talk bad about Africa, it just gives intelligent people the mindset of, let me go and Google and do my own research, and instead of just hearing from you. Understand what I mean? Because, like I said, Africa is not just full of war, of disease. Africa is not just full of sewage and dirt and filth. Come on. I know economies are bad. I know, but somewhere, somehow, dude, there are, even in bad economies, there are people driving latest cars. Can you believe that Ghana, there's a person, I don't know how many there are, but I just seen one truck. I've seen it on social media. So I think it might just be the only one or one of a few cyber trucks that are now in Ghana. If Africa is that bad, how is it possible that someone is driving a Tesla cyber truck? You please explain that to me. If Africa is that bad, please explain that. If there are Americans who can't even afford the Cybertruck, right? I mean, that Tesla truck is made in America, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Tesla product, an American company. So surely Americans should be able to afford it. I mean, it's made in America, so surely it should be easily affordable in America, right? But most Americans, and let's be specific, most Black Americans can't afford the Tesla Cybertruck. Can't afford it. It's too expensive, right? Facts, right? I'm not saying that Africans can afford it. What I'm simply saying is it's so expensive. But in Africa, the few that have the money can afford it too. So if Africa is that bad, nobody in Africa except politicians and maybe business people should only afford that Cybertruck. But even white collar workers in Africa can't afford the Cybertruck. How do I know? Come to South Africa. G-Wagons, Mercedes-Benz trucks, Lamborghini trucks, Jaguars, you name these, Ferraris, Porsches. What else? What else did I see? Bentleys, limousines. I mean, guys, they are super wealthy people. I mean, I know it's a small percentage, but don't make it sound like Africa is just doom and gloom. That is what I'm trying to say. So the positives or the pros of talking trash about Africa, it just drives the clever people to go and Google for themselves and see that not everything is bad. You know what I mean? And the more you talk about negative about Africa, the more you're thrusting Africa into the spotlight, then the more publicity Africa gets, and the more people want to come and exploit for themselves. That's the pro of talking trash about Africa. You know what I mean? Curious minds will always say, I want to experience that for myself. I want to see it for myself. You know what I mean? So that's the pro of talking trash about something or someone. Because some people want to go and experience things for themselves. So keep talking trash. But I digress on that one. Next, guys, we get into the cons of talking trash about Africa. Don't forget, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Guys, come on. You know we family, right? Holla. People, let's get into the negatives, the cons of talking trash, talking bad about Africa. Number one, you discourage people from coming to invest in the continent. Number two, you reinforce the negative stereotypes that people have about the continent. Number three, You are denying the continent opportunities, investment opportunities. Number four, you are denying Africa the chance to create jobs for its people, much needed jobs at that. And number five, you're making Africa look bad for no apparent reason, just so that you can look good. Guys, anyone who talks trash about Africa must also learn to balance it out with the good of Africa. Don't just be one sided. Don't just talk about the evil, the bad, and that. Because when they show America and Europe, they don't show the bad stuff. They don't. We go to America and we go to Europe with that whole mentality that it is way better than Africa. And then when you get there, the reality hits you that, oh my God, what did I do? I want to go back home. For example, did you know that going to America and going to the UK, it's very difficult to try and survive on just one job? I'm not saying you can't, but dude, the majority of the people have to have at least minimum two jobs. Two jobs. Now, let's start there. If you have to have two jobs just to survive, do you think that is the right mentality to have? Do you think that's a lifestyle that you would really become accustomed to, having two jobs? Imagine working 6 hours at one job and another 6 hours at another. That's 12 damn hours of your day at two different jobs. 12 damn hours. Whereas in Africa, you work 12 hours at one damn job. After that, you're already tired, you go home. Dude, by the first 6 hours at the first job, depending on how physically demanding or mentally draining that first job is, do you think you really make it to the second job? Let's be honest. As Africans, we're not used to two, three jobs. Come on. We used to have a job and a side hustle. The side hustle isn't time consuming. Let's be honest on that one. The side hustles in Africa normally take an hour or two, 4 hours at max. You know what I'm saying? Side hustle is just going to drop off something, pick up something, someone's. It's not like it's physically draining. It's not like you have a boss that you're running to again, because the side hustle is normally just buying and selling stuff. It's just like, oh, there's an order coming in. You have to pack this order. You have to get this order. So and so order this. They want this. It's more about deliveries or pickups, but it's never about time intensive or labor intensive side hustles. I don't know about that. So people never talk about that, but they just always want to bash Africa. So, guys, if you're going to bash Africa, please do us a favor and balance it out with the good of Africa too. Give a balanced view. Don't give a one sided, half baked view of Africa, because not only are you doing Africa a disservice, but you're also doing yourself a disservice. Because at the end of the day, the same continent that you are dissing is the same continent that the people that you are bragging to about how great their places are, that's the same continent they want you to go back to at the end of the day. Always remember that. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Holla.